Okay, so who's Jewish in this crowd? Okay, and who are our allies? Who's not Jewish? Oh my God, so many allies, you guys. The world. We need it. We need it. Thank you for coming. This is not a political show. Alright? So that actually means no one's going to talk about politics of any kind. That's fun. But I can say that my co-counselor from Birthright is here. Give it up for her from Arlington Heights. So I'm going to tell the story of when we landed. And that's it. We landed somewhere. And we had a participant that decided, hey, I'm going to do Xanax and drink a bunch on this flight. Which is not allowed. And so he was throwing up the whole time, but I was on Ambien. And I didn't care. We were in the sky. And we landed, and then they immediately medevaced him from the runway. Okay, they took him. We didn't know where they took him. I didn't know. I went to security. I'm like, where is he? They're like, could be one of 3 hospitals. I don't know. And he sucked. They let him back on the trip. I wouldn't look him in the eyes. That motherfucker posted on Instagram a few weeks ago, hey, I'm engaged to this shiksa, and we're in Amsterdam. What would Anne Frank think? He sucks! Should have left him on the runway. Well, that was for you, Rachel. You guys ever been to a Shiva? Yeah. Let's cheer about death. In case you don't know, Jewish education, Shiva is the 7 days of mourning after a funeral when someone dies. We put them in the ground as soon as fucking possible, but then we sit and just talk about it. And you're not actually supposed to talk to the person in mourning unless they approach you. That's not what my parents do. One time, you were there, Marissa's sibling. We have a dentist that we've obviously had since we were very young and still have. Though he's not the best dentist, all right? He removed my wisdom teeth. I was conscious. And his mother, may her memory be a blessing, was the dental technician. And so I remember, even though I was on lots of laughing gas, then fighting during my operation, like, no, Rena! And she's like, okay, well, we'll have a suction here. And I was like, I'm never gonna forget this. So I was at her funeral, and then we went to the Shiva, and listen, she died on the way to work. She was like 88, still working for her son, had a full face of makeup, and kind of just sat down, and that was it. That's a good way to go, all right? But her granddaughter found her. You know, like, who's gonna, okay. Something you shouldn't mention is like, hey, you know, you found your grandmother dead, right? Like, that's the first, you shouldn't do that. That's like, not, right? So first we get to the Shiva. My dad goes straight for the food. Also not super appropriate. You don't eat right away. You got it. It's a Shiva. Wait till they eat. Then eat everything and take it in your purse, right? And my mom went right up to the granddaughter and said, hey, I heard you found your grandmother dead. I shouldn't take them anywhere. Okay. But I was like, Mom. And then she's like, don't talk about me on stage. Well, I have to when you do shit like that. Are you crazy? But I'm not allowed to say her name. It's the same as her name. So if you remember that. One time I was in an Uber. A lot of times I was in an Uber, as my dad likes to say. I spent a lot of money on Uber. I hate to drive, but I was racially profiled in said Uber. Now you guys, I'm white presenting, right? Yeah, I'm like a white Jew. That's cool. I don't think of myself fully as white, but that's whatever. We don't have to go into those politics right now. And the Uber driver didn't either. And he was like, what are you? And I was like, I don't know what that question means. Where are you from? And I was like, I'm from the North Shore. And he said, do you live an alternative lifestyle? What do you think alternative lifestyle means?
Lesbian.
Yeah. He thought everyone in the North Shore suburbs was gay. And I was like, is it because I'm wearing sweatpants? Then I was like, no, I'm not. And he's like, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to the doctor. I was going to the doctor. I was going to the psychiatrist. I don't feel like he needed to know that. And he's like, oh, they're going to check you all over? I know. And I was like, no, it's an ear infection, man. And they got really, really sympathetic. I was like, oh my God, ear infections, those are so bad. What are you, though? And I was like, what? Are you Latina? And I was like, no. He's like, but you're not white. Are you Greek? I was like, nah. And he's like, are you Turkish? And I was like, no, I'm Jewish. And he was like, you gotta charge that race card. He said that to me, and I've charged it ever since. I have a lot in debt right now. So, do you guys think that you've charged a race card in this room? There's a lot of white Jews, so take advantage of it. They might know you're Jewish. They might not. Assume they they know, okay? Non-Jews, you know, right? You can tell. Is it the giant Jewish star I'm wearing? Does that give it away? Or is it my face? I was at an event at a very Orthodox organization. It's called Chabad. Have you heard of it? Yeah. You have a Chabad? And I went to a party that was called the White Party. Yeah, it was for singles, and everyone was wearing white. First of all, who owns all white clothing? Do you guys in this room? Okay, you do now. That's great. Because you were there. I wore a white dress that had newspaper print on it, a real Carrie Bradshaw moment. And I had a little bit of black on my dress, so I got a lot of attention. I wasn't fully in white. It said extra right on the top. And one guy came up to me and looked me up and down. I'll look at this microphone. Up and down. Damn! And I was like, it says extra, are you dyslexic? I didn't like him. And he was like, nah, girl, you look good. And I was like, this is a Chabad event. We don't talk like this to each other. And he was like, no, I'm in an open relationship with a girl that is Chabad. And I was like, none of that makes any sense. Tell me everything about it. And he's like, yeah, we opened it up a few months ago. And I was like, okay, what are your rules? He's like, we can each hook up with someone once every 6 months. I was like, that's not an open relationship, it's acceptable cheating. Okay. And then he pulled up her Wikipedia. Not her Instagram, she's on Instagram, on her Wikipedia. He's like, she's so cool, she's in a rock band. And I was like, yeah, I'd rather get with your girlfriend, dude. Why are you not married? Which is only acceptable to say at a Chabad event, okay, when they've been dating 4 years. Otherwise, don't ask people why they're not married. That's crazy. But it was kosher, all right? And he was like, because I can pull, because I'm a dog. And I was like, that's disgusting. I hate everything about him. And he had, you know how it's cool sometimes when people like shave that part of their eyebrow off? And there's like a little dent, and it's like, that's hot, that's cool. It wasn't hot on him. And I was just like, oh, did you do that on purpose, or was it a horrible gasoline incident? And he was like, I did it on purpose. And I was like, I hate you, I hate everything about you. So I did this joke at my last show, and someone came up to me after and was like, I went on a date with him. I was actually at it wasn't a Jewish stand-up show, but it might have well been earlier this week at the Laugh Factory. And the line was full of Jewish people, okay? Have you ever been in a fully Jewish line? All right, the Russians continually go around, no, we have to get in, and they just like, and then the angry twinks are like, get to the back of the line! And it's like, it's chaos. So we stood there for 25 minutes, and everyone was Jewish, okay? So there was like 8 different languages in the line, everyone's yelling at each other, oh, I know you, hello! And then we go inside, and it was everyone from West Rogers Park. I think they sent out a bulletin I didn't know about, maybe like a Jewish star in the sky, and everyone's like, I'm coming to Lakeview now. Do you guys know about J-Swipe? Yeah! Who knows if it's the worst app in Chicago right now? Yeah, I haven't been on it in a few years, but back in the day I was on it. I actually dated people, which was crazy. Not successfully, I mean, here I am now, but dated. And I was like, I wonder what the women are posting. You know, I'm gonna do some market research. So I made a profile of a man, and he was super hot, because he was like a Jewish actor no one knows of, but like everyone's gonna swipe right. I by accident ghosted a lot of women. I didn't want to lead them on, you know? Wow, what are women saying? You know, am I ahead of the curve? Because my profile, I thought was kind of cool. I thought it was pretty hot. I saw one girl's that said JMT. Do you guys know that acronym? Oh no, because it's not an acronym that we use. That doesn't exist. Jewish Mother in Training? You're marketing yourself to the other sex? That's crazy. That's crazy. And I was like, girl, my profile says, as the Lord commanded, go down Moses. J-Swipe, we need to change it up. We need to level up. And I looked in the mirror and I realized maybe if I'm the coolest girl on J-Swipe, I should go to Tinder. Right? You know, Judaism, where like I'll ask things and people will cheer or raise their hands. It's very Jewish. I'm like, who's Jewish? It's me, I'm here. And it's like, okay, you guys, we don't have to hide in this room. I have extra security.